Hi guys, so Kelsey, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys are good, you guys are great, and you're having a wonderful day. I am having a teething moment with my baby girl, and she just doesn't want to let go. Ufuna ukuhlala nami everywhere, ufuna ngimphathe. So I'm just like, you know what? Let me just record while I'm at it. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about things that I had to unlearn to make my marriage work, right? I think when I was 19, I had this mentality of, I don't care, right? And besides that, I had this notion of approaching things with, no, not approaching, but like expressing myself with a lot of disrespect and disregard. Like, oh, welcome would rightfully say, when Antombi like ukamisa ukyale, like you don't think before you talk, like you don't count your words, especially when I'm angry. Like I wasn't considerate. Like one of the things that I had to unlearn was not being considerate, was not thinking before I talk. It was me addressing things with disrespect, right? Those are the major things that I had to let go of because they had a direct impact in my relationship, right? And I think in my anger, I would always overreact, right? I remember when my partner and I would have like an argument, I would walk to like a park, just to get like fresh air and stuff. But I think I would go about it like the wrong way because like I would switch off my phone because I don't want to talk to him, right? And I would not be aware of my surrounding. Like if I were to be kidnapped, it would be so much easy because I'm just in my thoughts and I'm not answering my phone. If only, right? So I never considered the safety aspect of me walking out of the house angry, right? And that is just one of the biggest things that I had to unlearn. Because as much as I would walk out of the house angry and I wouldn't want to talk to Welcome, when I switch on my phone, I would get a lot of messages and a lot of missed calls, like voice messages, and he would still be that kind of person. You would see, I'm angry with you, but I still care about you. Like, Ugupi, just let me know where you are you safe, and all that. Yabo? As much as Akwatile, but he still had that. And I think for me it was a surprise because I didn't grow up like that. Like, when you grow up and no one cares, like, no one cares, And it was my first interaction to get someone like that. So I had to just tell myself, but you know what? I need to look deep into what this guy is saying. Like, he actually has a point. Like, I do overreact. Yeah, bo? And I think another thing that I had to unlearn was bottling things up, like things would happen and I would just like bottle it up and then just leave it. I just had to learn to express myself better and just speak up, with respect, like in an appropriate manner. I think when you live with someone, you should be considerate of a whole lot of things, right? And yeah, I did that, and I think it has really helped me a lot and it has really worked. And another thing was, I think my man's major thing was, how to manage his anger. Welcome he had anger when we met, and he would like break cups, and he would like push me around, and I would push him back because it's just like, you know what, I'm not gonna allow you to do this to me, because it starts with the pushing, right? Then it becomes the kicking, then it becomes the slaps, and then it becomes like, okay, you're in a violent relationship now. So I didn't allow that from him. Like, it was also like that moment of, you need to work on your anger issues, and if you want us to work, don't push me to talk to me. Like, if I'm not listening to what you're saying, rather change your approach or whatever the situation is, but don't push me, because now me being pushed triggers me. Like, I respond, and as tiny as I am, like, I used to respond. Yeah, I used to respond in a way that I also can't explain. Yeah, but so it was also that situation. I would say, like, do your work as much as you want me to do my work. Now we do your work, let's meet each other like halfway, right? And I'm so grateful that we sat down and we really spoke about like the kind of relationship we want to have. Yeah, but and we also considered things like, okay, if we were to have a child, do you want our child to grow up in a space where as-understandani, umama akhe makwatile uyaphuma uya emaphakini, bamfonela akekho akabambi ifoni, ubaba akhe makakwatile uyabaphusha endlini, ubaba akhe makakwatile uphula amadlazi. Like, do we really want that? Not only for our kids but for us as well. Like, it's not healthy, right? And we had to go back to our drawing board and realize about like, what kind of relationship do we actually want? Yeah, amongst that, like, another thing that I had to like unlearn was my drinking, right? I used to drink a lot back then, and it was also related to my escape. Like, I used to use drinking as like an escape when we have a problem and I can't talk to him about it, or whatever the situation is. That was still my bottling things up phase. Like, I couldn't talk to him about something, then I would like drink, and yeah. So I had to like really understand where, like, I need to let that go. I need to either face my problems or like find another way of dealing with like my problems. And I think that also another thing was like, I was looking at how we would like go clubbing and then I would drink to a pulp, and we would come back to the house, and now I probably blacked out, or I'm probably like so drunk that I'm vomiting everywhere, and he has to clean after me, he has to change me, like put on my pajamas, like all those kind of things. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't want my man to go through this. Like, I don't like if we are to get married, I don't want him taking care of me in this aspect. Like, Guguti uzoyenza all of this, and tomorrow he's literally going to work. The past day they got busy. I know. I was like, no, I can't. I need to really sort my shit out, like on so many levels. On my I have to work on this drinking thing. And it also stems from like, okay, growing up, I've always been told, no, you're just gonna be like your mom, you're gonna be a drunkard, and you're not gonna be anything. And out of everything, I think my mom was like the sweetest. Okay, as experience something of fun, right? Now they had their own experiences, but like for me, like, she is, oh, why am I saying she is? She was the best part of my life. As much as she was drinking, but she never neglected me. She loved me, she did so much. And I'll just have a space or a moment where I'll just speak about where most of the things that I learned for my parenting style like stem from her, right? So getting right back to this point, so I knew it's like I really need to deal with my problems, as much as people have said, but I'm not my mom, I'm me, and I can make decisions for myself, and I need to do what is right for me, right? And I started looking at like, if I'm really going to be with this person for like the longest time, am I always going to do this? and where does it end? Where does it stop? You know. And I also looked at like the decision making, like the, what do you call this? The yo, guys, my train of thought. Yeah, I'll come back to that. But yeah, I had to learn new ways of communicating. I had to learn how to bring my point across without being disrespectful or disregard the person. I had to learn to open up. I had to learn to take a better approach when I'm angry, you know, like resort to other things than just walking and being in that element of just being unaware of what's going on around me. And I also had to learn to find ways to deal with my problems, like sober minded, right? And yeah, I mean, a lot of people have asked me, like, why did you stop drinking? And I was just like, I'm not ready. I'm just not ready to talk about it because it's a whole lot, right? And yeah, I mean, looking back, I'm grateful I stopped drinking excessively. And I mean, Welcome and I used to have like a lot of alcohol in the house, and it was kind of like difficult for me to stop drinking, but I just trained myself, like, have like a glass of wine Fridays, only Fridays, have like maybe a glass of wine again on a Saturday or whatever the situation is. But like, I had brought down my drinking, and I also looked at the fact that my husband and I started doing this thing, Yuguti. We drink to celebrate, right? So I think it came, yeah, it came with, yeah, we looked at the bigger picture and how best can we do things moving forward. And yeah, I mean, those are the things that I had to unlearn to make my marriage work. And I'm super grateful that I had someone that was patient enough and someone that actually took the step to teach me, like, how to respond respectfully, how to handle situations sober-minded, how to, and with other things he didn't teach me personally, but he had like recommendations, like he paid for my therapy, he did his work to support me as much as he could. And I'm super grateful to have had this whole journey, and I'm grateful that I did it with him, because he's not the kind of guy who doesn't acknowledge his mistakes, you know. And yeah, another thing was the apologizing. Growing up, I grew up being told by like umntongdala is not wrong, so if they've done something wrong they don't apologize. So now I had that mentality, because mine isn't wrong, I would not apologize. But I had to unlearn that, and it was so much easier because with Welcome, what he does is he apologizes, like he takes accountability. So he would model it for me, and it was so much easier for me to understand it, because it's not something that he just says, it's something that he does. So I really, really love that about my husband. And yeah, I mean, Storm is in good hands. Like, now she is in good hands. But I think if we had her then, there would be like so much happening, like so much. So I think the power of timing is like really perfect. That's why I always speak about God's timing and how he does things Natasha, like, because a lot of people are like to me, you've been with this guy for so long and you guys don't even have kids. Like, is everything okay? What do you mean? Right? So I think with Storm as well, it was that planning. It's okay, let's work on us and bring a child into our marriage when we know that we have worked on most of the things that we want to see in each other. So yeah, I'm just grateful that we actually did put in the work and we brought our child into a space that is much safer, you know. And yeah, it was so lovely to be with you guys. And Kenata aphandle. Yo. There's a lot happening and Storm is sleeping now.